Hello everyone, welcome to course study on solid mechanics. In today's lecture we are going to discuss the concept of determinate and indeterminate beam, relation between loading intensity, shear force and bending moment, and point of contraflexure. So we will discuss all those concepts one by one. So the first one is concept of determinate and indeterminate beam. Now what does the determinate beam means? The beams which can be analyzed just by using three equilibrium conditions are called as determinate beam. Means in case of determinate beam, the analysis can be done by using three equilibrium conditions only. Three equilibrium conditions are summation of f of x equal to 0, summation of f of y equal to 0, and the summation of moment about any point will be equal to 0. So by using three equilibrium condition we can find out the unknown reaction. So it is known as determinate beam. Next one, indeterminate beam. The beams which cannot be analyzed just by using three equilibrium conditions. In this beam, additional conditions are required to find unknown reactions are called as indeterminate beam. So in case of indeterminate beam, the three equilibrium conditions are not sufficient to make the analysis. We will require the additional equation to find out the unknown reactions. So it is known as indeterminate beam. For example, if we consider a fixed beam or built-in beam, then it is a indeterminate structure, because the unknown reactions in case of fixed beam or built-in beam cannot be analyzed by using three equilibrium conditions. For that purpose we require the additional equation to make the analysis of it. In case of indeterminate beam, more than three unknowns are involved in the beam. So as discussed, we have more than three unknown reactions, therefore it cannot be analyzed by using three equilibrium condition. And the second one is equilibrium conditions are not sufficient to solve the problem. So this is all about the concept of determinate and indeterminate beam. Now we are going to derive the relation between loading intensity, shear force and bending moment. Let W is equal to rate of loading, or it is also known as intensity of load, F or V, which is equal to shear force in kilonewton, or you can express it in Newton also, and M is equal to bending moment in kilonewton meter or Newton mm also. So we have W is equal to rate of loading, F which is equal to V, which is equal to shear force in kilonewton, and M is equal to the bending moment in kilonewton meter or Newton mm. So the first one is rate of change of bending moment gives the shear force. Remember that shear force is denoted by the letter V or F, and which is equal to dm upon dx. So dm upon dx is nothing but it's a rate of change of moment with respect to x direction, and this dm upon dx is nothing but it's a slope of bending moment, and that slope it gives the value of shear force. So remember that the rate of change of moment with respect to x direction, it gives the value of shear force in that particular direction. For maximum value of bending moment or for the minimum value of bending moment, we have dm upon dx. For maximum or minimum value of bending moment, we have dm upon dx equal to 0. As dm upon dx is equal to 0, it means that F or V is also 0. So what it indicates? It indicates that for the maximum bending moment, the shear force is 0. In other words, the bending moment may be maximum where the shear force changes its sign from positive to negative. So remember that for the case of maximum bending moment or the minimum bending moment, dm upon dx must be equal to 0. And as dm upon dx is equal to 0, so indirectly V and F is also 0. So when V and F is 0, we have maximum or minimum bending moment. Therefore dm upon dx is nothing but it's a slope of bending moment diagram, and which gives the shear force value. Next one, the rate of change of shear force gives the rate of loading. Remember that loading is denoted by the letter W, which is equal to dF upon dx. So it indicates that the rate of change of shear force with respect to x direction is equal to the intensity of loading. Therefore, dF upon dx is nothing but it's a slope of shear force which gives the value of loading intensity. And next one, as discussed earlier, again dm upon dx is equal to 0, that is f is equal to 0 for the minimum or maximum value. Now we are going to discuss the concept of point of contraflexure. It is very important concept while in case of shear force diagram and in case of bending moment diagram. Remember that point of contraflexure, it is also known as inflection point. It is also known as inflection point. So this is inflection. It is also known as inflection point. Now what does the point of contraflexure it means? Remember that in case of overhanging beam, the portion of the beam between the two support it sags due to the bending moment, whereas in case of overhanging portion the beam hogs due to the bending moment. The bending moment thus changes from sagging to hogging in case of overhanging beam, and at the point of zero moment the bending moment changes its signs. As it changes its signs, the curvature also changes its signs. This is called as the point of contraflexure. So remember that in case of overhanging beam, the portion which is in between two support it gets sags due to the bending moment, and the overhanging portion it gets hogs due to the bending moment. So there is change from sagging to hogging. As there is change from sagging to hogging, so there will be the zero bending moment at the neutral axis. So the bending moment changes its sign, so it is known as point of contraflexure. So from this diagram we can observe that the bending moment changes its sign from positive to negative, and at the point where it is zero, that point is known as point of contraflexure. In case of shear force diagram also we have a zero value of shear force, therefore it is known as point of contraflexure. So in case of point of contraflexure, which is also known as inflection point, the bending moment is zero, that is it changes from positive to negative. Now we are going to discuss the rules for drawing the shear force diagram and bending moment diagram. Remember that the first rule is shear force should be zero at its end. So at the support the shear force is always zero. Next one, if a point load is acting over the beam just like this figure, then in case of shear force diagram you can observe the horizontal line or a vertical line, and it is also known as 0 degree curve, because the horizontal line or the vertical line it has a power equal to 0, therefore it is also known as 0 degree curve. So remember that in case of point load you should observe a vertical line or the horizontal line in case of shear force diagram, whereas the bending moment diagram is between two point load it is joined by a straight line. So for the point load and for the bending moment diagram, between two point load we have to join it by a inclined line or a straight line, so it will become the first degree curve. Now the second type of loading is uniformly distributed load. In case of uniformly distributed load and for the shear force diagram, you can observe the inclined line between two support or between 2 points, and the curve of that particular line is first degree curve, so the power is 1. Whereas in case of bending moment diagram you will observe the parabolic curve, and that parabolic curve it should be a second degree curve, means its power is 2. The third type of loading is uniformly varying load, UVL. So in case of uniformly varying load and for the shear force diagram we should have a parabolic curve of second degree, and in case of bending moment diagram you should have a cubic curve of degree 3. And remember that moment has no effect in case of shear force diagram, whereas in case of bending moment diagram you will observe a vertical line for the bending moment. And last type of loading is partially uniformly varying load. For the partially uniformly varying load, we should observe a third degree curve for the shear force diagram and a fourth degree curve in case of bending moment diagram. So those are the rule which should be remembered for drawing the shear force diagram and bending moment diagram. Remember that the bending moment at ends is also 0 for the bending moment diagram. Now we are going to discuss the shear force diagram and bending moment diagram for the standard case of loading. So the first load is simply supported beam with the point load. So this is the beam AB which is simply supported at A and B, and it is subjected to a concentrated load or point load W at its center. Therefore, first of all, the first step is you have to find out the reaction of its support. As it is simply supported one, so for the simply supported beam we have vertical reaction. So RA is equal to W by 2. As it is symmetrical about both the side, then our reaction at A will be load divided by 2. Therefore RA reaction at A will be W by 2 and the reaction at B will be W by 2 because it is symmetrical one. As the reaction is W by 2, so the force which is acting in upward direction, it is W by 2. As there is no load between A to C, so you will observe a horizontal line between A to C. Next one, this W by 2 minus W, it will give you the value of shear force at point C. Therefore we have the shear force diagram in this manner, and again at support B we have reaction W by 2. So you will observe a positive and negative sign in case of shear force diagram. We will discuss all those concepts in detail in the next lecture also. And in case of bending moment diagram you will observe a triangular portion, that is at its apex we have the maximum bending moment and it is given by WL by 4. This is the simply supported beam with the point load. Now we will consider a simply supported beam which is subjected to UDL W per meter. Remember that in case of UDL, in case of shear force diagram, you will observe a inclined line. Therefore this is the inclined line between two support. And how to calculate the reaction? The reaction can be calculated by, first of all you will require to convert this UDL into its point load, and that can be converted into its intensity into length. Therefore it will become WL and it will act at its center, and at the center we have the load equal to WL. Therefore the reaction will be WL by 2 and WL by 2 at A and B. So in case of shear force diagram you will observe an inclined line between two support, whereas in case of bending moment diagram you will observe a parabolic curve of second degree, and as the shear force is 0 at point P we have a maximum bending moment, and that maximum bending moment is WL square by 8. So this is the shear force diagram and bending moment diagram for the simply supported beam with point load and simply supported beam with UDL. Now we will discuss about the shear force diagram and bending moment diagram for the next type of case. And we have beam with moment or couple at its center. So this is a simply supported beam both the end, and it is subjected to a moment or couple at its center. As this moment it is acting in anti-clockwise direction, so the reaction at A and B will be in clockwise direction. So the reaction will be in this manner. So reaction at A will act in upward direction, whereas reaction at B will act in downward direction. Because this particular moment it is acting in anticlockwise direction, to balance this particular moment, the couple due to the reaction will act in clockwise direction, and the value of that particular reaction is M upon L and M upon L. So this is a shear force diagram for the beam with moment or couple, whereas the bending moment diagram is given by in this way. Means at M we have to take the moment, therefore M upon L into L1, it will become ML1 upon L over here and ML2 upon L over here. And next one we will discuss about the cantilever beam with the point load. Remember that for the cantilever beam we have three unknown reactions. For that purpose, the first unknown reaction is upward force, second one is horizontal force, and the third one is bending moment. Therefore we have a shear force diagram, a rectangular shear force diagram for a cantilever beam, and in case of bending moment diagram we have maximum bending moment WL, whereas it is 0 at its free end. Remember that the maximum bending moment in case of cantilever beam with the point load, we have maximum bending moment WL, whereas at the free end it is 0. So this is all about the determinate and indeterminate beam, the relation between loading intensity, shear force and the bending moment, and the shear force diagram and bending moment diagram for the standard cases. We will discuss the numericals which are based on the shear force diagram and bending moment diagram in detail in next lecture. So we will stop here. Thank you.